Hey, world changers, welcome to your podcast. I'm Aniki Carroll and I travel the world with a sense of adventure and purpose, exploring, learning, having fun, and meeting remarkable individuals who are transforming their communities and beyond. Join me as we dive into the inspiring journeys of change makers from every corner of the globe. Tune in weekly for stories that might just change your life, ignite your passion, and show you how ordinary people can create extraordinary impact. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on social media at World Changers PC and get ready to take off. So welcome to the World Changers podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself? Just tell me your full name and then I think kind of dive in straight into your background very quickly and your life, like right up to this moment. We'll explore more things, but this is just a brief introduction to who Emem is.
Yeah, sure. My name is Emem Udom. Ita is my dad's name and Udom is my family name. I have Akwa Ibom and a lot of people mispronounce my name like a lot. And it's funny because, it's quite simple. Emem Udom, right? I am going to be clocking 23 by November this year. So it's safe to say I'm 22 plus. Yeah. Yeah, I was, should I say an early, I finished school early. Like I had like a early start to life. Courtesy of my mom, amazing mom, because history has it that I even started school before I could even walk because I stopped very early. I finished my school. I went to Bowen University and I finished in 2020. I just got 18 at the time, clocking 18 at the time. Yeah, and I finished with a 4 points plus, and it was amazing. But I didn't know what was in store for MM because I'd studied mass communications. I was going to go into the communication space and do all things communication. And the first shock I was when I started my national exam score and I was teaching in school. Oh my goodness. That was a deal breaker for me. I remember that I cried so much. I cried so much, and I told the proprietress of the school at Saga, I don't want to teach. I want to work in a radio station. Because I felt like everything that was to me was communication, radio, PR, and that's it. I think I was so myopic to life and to what life entailed for me at the time. But teaching those children exposed me to a lot of things that, a lot is going on. Parents are not doing enough. Some parents, not all parents, because have parents do great jobs actually. But it exposed me to that. Just kids are so exposed to vices and there is no cover, to be with them. And as the only 18-year-old, I thought so funny enough, some of those kids don't even know that I've been. So I didn't let them know my age. You don't have to, But I remember that I was the only one who could really relate because teachers were quite older to their struggles. And I tried my best to be there for them. And the educational standard was also poor. The kids that were supposed to be art students were still struggling to know what simile and metaphor was necessary too. Was a shock. So it was like I had to take that burden to teach them. And I loved it at some point. I had challenges because it was not really what I wanted to do. But when I finished, I was like, okay, now life is up. I need to know what next.
So let me just recap what I'm hearing. You're quite young and you're quite accomplished from what I've read about you, which is really impressive. And I'd like to dive into all that. So that's wonderful. But if I understand, you've graduated really early. So if you graduated at 18-ish, when did you go to university? At what age?
Oh my, I was about 14.
Wow. And what university did you go to?
Bowen University in Washington State.
Okay. All righty. Great stuff. Okay.
Has a been at the time.
Okay. It's really interesting. That's really wonderful and impressive to hear. So for those who are listening, it might please you to know that MM, take note of the pronunciation because that's a bugbear for her.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't pronounce it, but it's pretty straightforward. EMEM is MM. Pretty much. Yeah, it's not difficult. Okay. Emem lives in Lagos, Nigeria, and so we're going to explore a little bit. I mean, have you always lived in Lagos? Is that where you grew up?
I was born in Lagos, but at some point, my parents relocated to Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up Lagos, Akwa Ibom, my Shopwood.
Okay, and Akwa Ibom is your home state.
Yes, it is.
That's
Yes,
it.
it is.
That's lovely. For those who don't know, what part of Nigeria is Akwa Ibom in?
It's in the southern part, the south.
Okay, south. And you guys are also quite nutrient rich in that area, aren't you?
People say that.
Yes.
I don't know.
But it is the reality. It is one of the areas in Nigeria that's quite nutrient rich. Lots of, but putting that to one side, how familiar are you with Akwa Ibom State? Has it got lots to see, places to go to? Because it is one of the developing and progressive states right now, isn't it? Yeah. What is there to do there?
Okay, contrary to people's beliefs, that's only Uyo that is happening to this, right? I feel like you.
And Uyo is the capital of Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
Yes, and a lot of people think,
Like,
yeah.
it's a happening place, but you can go to Eke, you can go to Ibola Beach, right? But like you said, it's still developing, so there are hopes of us growing and becoming one of the best states. One of the greatest things I was really proud of at the time, but no longer because I mean we've grown, was the stadium our former governor, the current Senate president, built at the time. And it was a sight for sore eyes, so beautiful and so top notch at the time. And most people wanted to come to Akwa Ibom to just see that building. And I mean, it's still magnificent if you're passing by. But one thing you should know Akwa Ibom for as well is the food.
Oh, yeah. Good. Are you telling me that I can testify to?
I found it your outbreak. Like it's just so good. I found any kaiko, also just a lot of dishes for you to enjoy. Do you know we cook our stew differently? But contrary to how normal people cook their stew, they just have this method and the fact that crayfish is like the major spice and just brings life to the food. If you put crayfish in beets, oh my goodness. We don't want to go back to the former method of eating beets without crayfish inside. It's something I'm really proud of their food and how they have involved even with those foods and turning it into something that can be more presentable. We have great chefs like Basi doing a great job with presenting our Akwa Ibom dishes, Calabar dishes to be something that is worth talking about, something that is worth seeing. So I'm proud of the food. I'm proud of the people as well. They're amazing. They're welcoming. They're amazing. They're welcoming. Say, go to Akwa Ibom, trust me, they will not throw you away. They would, because language will get to be a barrier for you if you're not from Akwa Ibom, right? But they speak English too, so don't be scared.
Of course.
They're very welcome.
Yeah.
They'll take you round. And this Mbappe reveals, they do the masquerade thing, so state. Yeah, so you got someone that likes to see masquerade. When people do Halloween, right? Yeah, that's our own African Halloween.
No, actually, it's more like a festival, more like carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like Halloween at all. It would be more like carnival. And I'm glad you brought that up because I think people don't quite realize that Nigeria is so rich and so diverse, and there's so much more to Nigeria than Lagos and Abuja. So I'm really pleased that we started talking about Akwa Ibom and that you're very familiar with it. Wonderful. That's absolutely brilliant. How often do you go back? Do you go back often?
I back March, I'm going to be going December.
Okay.
To see my family, to see my siblings, and I need to just, all them time. Please, everyone, and also the food.
Yeah.
Also not give you that flavor from your mom. That is just this. There's something about your mom cooking for you, right? Yeah, I can't get it anywhere.
Nice. That's so good. I'm really pleased that you talked about the food because yes, Nigeria is known for its jollof rice, but we're more than jollof rice. Nigeria is known for fufu. I think, a lot of people are trying that, but they don't realize that there's just so much, diversity in the food and it's all really good. I love Nigerian food as well. So thank you for highlighting that. Let's dive into you some more now, because that was a really good introduction to your part of Nigeria. You are currently a product manager. Yeah. And from what I understand, you've worked with top tier clients in the financial industry, developing products that address the advertising and customer relations needs. But then you've also launched some social enterprises. So Operation Feed the Streets, grassroots initiative. Can you tell me a little bit about Operation Feed the Streets?
Okay, that was an initiative I launched during my NYSC.
So that's the National Youth Service Core Program. So that's the National Youth Service Core Program that all Nigerian graduates, university graduates undergo. They take 1 year after they graduate to serve. Okay, so you launched it then, and this was in 2022 after you graduated?
2022.
Okay.
So I gathered my friends together. I was like, let's do something. Let's do back. People are hungry. People are hungry, and let's just do back. And that was how we launched Operation Feed the Streets. Unfortunately, we didn't continue, but now I'm ready to take it up again because I'd launched other social enterprises at the time, but it's something I'm willing to combine now with other things I do. For example, I have trained over 100 people on area visibility, and it's something I want to incorporate into what I do right now to just do more for society.
That's wonderful. I'll explore all of that. So I just want to stick with Operation Feed the Streets for a little bit, because at the time, what you did was you rallied volunteers, you secured donations, you organized food drives. So just tell me a little bit about how the program worked. It was aimed at combating hunger by feeding the homeless in the states, different states to Lagos and to your home state of Akwa Ibom. This was in Ondo State, right? So, yeah.
Okay, so like I said, my volunteers were my friends because, you're willing to support me.
Okay.
And like, hey man, no, we got you, girl. Let's do this. And they brought funding came in from them, not necessarily from other entities like other NGOs or the government. It was like my friends, which were the volunteers, funded this movement. Those who could bring drinks, pour drinks, those who could do this. It was really amazing. And we fed people. Before we even started, there was no money anywhere. How much were they paying us? 3,000 naira. How would I pay people with 3,000 naira? But at the time, I started the business, my first business in our life, a cooking business, because I loved cooking. I love cooking. So I used that to sustain myself because I knew that 3,000 is not going anywhere. So I had saved a lot, and my friends and the volunteers, my friends, those I still call them my friends, they came in and they supported, and we're able to feed people. I used to have pictures, so I changed my phone, That's why I need to start putting pictures on her drive so that I don't lose memories of this amazing initiatives. But I think I should have a picture on my LinkedIn about it. That was like 2 years ago. But it was really nice, and it was really amazing seeing that people are actually very hungry. And it's something that I'm still very passionate about because whenever I climb Ketu Bridge or other bridges in Lagos, and even at home, I will see those people sitting down there, hungry. I will see children, kids running everywhere at the bus stop. I do like this, auntie, it's painful. People should not have to go through that. If we had a working system, maybe we would have.
So for those who are listening who would not see this, basically it's children who are pointing to their mouths and just begging for food, right? Yeah, it's this really sad sight to see and all over the streets. Let's move on to your passion for change, because you didn't stop there. You were encouraged by the success of Operation Feed the Streets, and only last year you founded Skills T and get into tech as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Skills T is and what Get Into Tech is?
Okay, Skills T is like the umbrella body. Originally called Get Into Tech, but now it's Skills T.
Okay.
Skills T is like just empowering people, more like giving people career clarity. I've trained over 100 people on LinkedIn optimization, career clarity. I've coached people. Let's take it a leap forward. That was last year, July. I'm like, let's do something. People want to go to tech. People want to understand what tech is, but they think it's only about programming. You don't know the aspects to tech, like product management, customer success, diverse copywriting, content writing. Everybody just wants to write codes, and it's funny. So I came up with that initiative with my friend Ayomide Akitade and my colleague at the time, Obayemi, and one of my mentors that really brought me into tech, Mr. Ifeanyi Onwoke. We started we did it for 2 Saturdays where we told empower people, expanded their knowledge on what tech really is. That tech is not just about writing codes. The fact that you can operate your phone, that's technology. You can pick up a remote, you can change. So you don't have to know how to write codes before you can change your world in tech. Life has gone beyond just doing things manually and analog wise. So you don't have to feel like, oh, you're left out. You're not left out. If you are someone who loves to solve problems, you know how to manage people. My sissy, you can go into product management. If you're someone who wants to ensure that your customer is satisfied with whatever product or service you're offering, you could go into customer success. You don't have to write codes to enjoy tech, to be in tech, to love tech, to live tech, and to do tech. So we came up with that last year and it was a success. Besides that, I've done different coaching. In fact, I'm currently doing one for some people that my friend invited me to teach or coach part time. So I was impressed by some of their answers and I decided to mentor them for like a week on career disability and career clarity. And I also join other initiatives to mentor people on career clarity because I realized through people that reach out to me on LinkedIn that a lot of people are still confused on what to do career wise. And the advices I have or the things I learned now, I wish someone had told me when I was doing NYSC so that this is how to go about it. I would have gone harder than this. So it's something I'm passionate about. And I realized something recently too, that whenever I see a young girl that has potential, I could do more. I'm always asking them like, why are you here? Why you can do more? And I'm like, I just want to finish. So I'm like, no, you don't have to wait. Give me your number. So it's leading me to, launch an umbrella but career inner circle for people that are really confused about their career. It's an initiative I launched already, but I want to relaunch because I didn't do some things right. And I'm not ashamed to say that. We're all making mistakes, right?
Of course.
But I'm willing to contribute this. It's also an umbrella initiative under Skills. Skills is like the founding body, but Get into Tech program is like part of it. Career in a Circle is going to be a part of it. And we're going to empower women, not only women, people, because I've had my DMs right now is more full on my WhatsApp. I've responded to some messages and I'm just really passionate. I don't like to see people struggle when they actually have it in them to do it, but they've not sat down with themselves to actually want to bring out that juice, that just sauce, and something I'm really passionate about.
Wonderful. And Skills T, just go back to that. It's a platform. Is it a digital platform or is it just
not yet digital? It's going to the go digital very soon. It's just that the umbrella body we are program this October. I'll be bringing in other people that are young like me who are doing great things in different spaces to actually mentor people again on how to career clarity, how to do a skills gap test, how to just know what you have and see what you have to get what you want and how to, improve on it. But you're giving me ideas. I've never had the idea of making it go digital, but I think you're giving me fresh business ideas. I should thank you. Thank you for it.
You're welcome.
I might consider going digital with that. I really consider it, I just say.
I mean, what you're doing is quite important, and we cannot get enough of that, certainly. And I'm really pleased that you're doing that because the more people can get into tech, the better it will be so that we can stay in step with the rapidly changing global landscape, in that area. So really pleased about that and really pleased that you're doing something about it. Before we finish, you're also a passionate writer. You've written a book called Jar of Oil, which reflects your belief in the power of storytelling. Do you want to tell us a little bit, because I understand that there are insights and anecdotes and practical advice for navigating life's challenges and reaching one's full potential. Do you want to tell us a few of those, that you want to leave the listeners with just before we finish?
I'm a Christian, right? Jar of Oil was a book born out of passionate devotion to the things of God last year. And I told me, you're going to write a book. I'm like, write book. I write. I create content on LinkedIn and people are able to relate to my content a lot. And I've got the messages I've met different people from all walks of life because of the content I put out there. I'm like, I don't have it in me to write a book. And Holy Spirit reminded me of a time where I was 7 years old and my mom had bought me my first journal. I can never forget. I forgot, but now I remember, and I won't forget again. And I it's still in our library at home, where I had written different stories because my mom trained me or trained us in, I don't know, she really tried in just storytelling manner. My mom and my dad. My mom literally bought books. I can remember some books says like Abo Crocodile, Village Boy. We grew up with reading reading a lot of books, right? So I just had it in me when I was around about 7 years or 8 years of age. I see my mom has the book at home. So I'd scribbled different stories I wanted to publish, and I was really passionate at the time, thinking, I'm going to publish a book. But I forgot all about that life, growth, and trying to navigate life challenges. I literally forgot. Then it always reminded me. Then I'm like, okay, I could do so much more. Then I remember I had led me to read the book of Kings about Elisha at the widow's oil.
Right.
And Elijah had performed the same miracle, then Elisha did so. And there was a new perspective nobody had ever explained to me. Popped in my spirit about mentorship, about you getting the oil and also giving out the oil. So the book is literally telling you that you have that oil in you. So you can monetize that oil by giving it out to others. That's how you make your own money back and same time change your world. So John was literally that book that will talk about my challenges. I made some fake prophets at the time because I wanted to make it big, but I was confused on how to do so. And those prophets, and I really wanted to know what I wanted with life. And those prophets had called me an Ombanje, I should come for a spiritual path. If AKT, I should come for a spiritual path and I would gain clarity. But instead, I get more conception. I'm growing up in an MFM, must not fire.
Okay. There are a number of things that you're kind of mentioning, which I'd like to dive into, which I think probably needs a little bit of explanation. But just before we do that, do you want to tell us about the jar of oil, just maybe one or two? So I love the fact that, it's really important to use your gifts and your talents, monetize them, help other people. So not just get it poured in you, but also pour in others. Do you want to give us one or two other anecdotes or practical advice that one could use for navigating life's challenges and reaching full potential?
Okay, so one like what you said, giving out to what you have and making money from it, and also impacting the world. Something I really pointed out in chapter 2 and 3. Then I talk about constant studying of the word. If you're a Christian, I gave direct examples from the Bible, like Deborah, who was in a patriarchal society at the time, but she was able to rise as that woman that did so much, and they won the battle. So I pointed out those that if you want to actually do great things in life, number one, go back to your source. Go back to your source. You need to know your source. Where are you drawing strength from? Where are you drawing inspiration from? Where are you drawing wisdom from? You have to stay with your source. You do not go great or you do not do things and not forget the source, the thing that was bringing those things to you. So the most important thing is if you want to shine, go back to your source. That was one thing I really pointed and emphasized on. Number two, study the word, study Proverbs, study the Ecclesiastes. They're going to those books in the Bible are going to expand your horizon, your mindset, of how to do imagine I was studying Proverbs one time and I saw the facts that do not stand as a surety for somebody if you're not sure of the person's character. I was shocked. I'm like, so is it one inside the Bible and people are not reading this thing, So Proverbs gave me wisdom on how to navigate life. It still does. Ecclesiastes did the same. So I really pointed out those facts for people that go back. You are confused because you are not connected. When a mother is not connected to a child in the womb, something can happen to that child. Or physically, if you're not connected to your parents or to someone who draws strength from, then there's going to be this confusion. And, if you have a good mom or a good dad, it's good to be connected to them because from them you learn experiences. From them you can even get what nobody else will ever tell you. From there, I can get insider information how to do life, or how they did life, and how you can do yours better. So going back to your source is very key, and it's a key takeaway from that book. As of anything I'll tell anybody about anything, go back to your source. Know your source. Then stick with your source.
I love that, honestly. And if I can summarize the two things which you've said, it's really go to the things where you can draw strength from, the source of your strength, because you need that for the journey. And of course, getting wisdom, getting information as an economist, I really do believe that that information is a power resource. You cannot afford not to be knowledgeable, especially about the things that matter and pertain to your own life. So that's wonderful, really good advice. You started alluding to some challenges that you faced, and I imagine that for you to have done all this, you recognized opportunities for sure, but the thing that's giving you grit, that's giving you a backbone, that's inspired you, has been born out of challenges. So, do you want to share, one or two of those just very quickly?
Okay, so a backstory, yeah. Growing up with my family, my dad is an amazing man, by the way. But I saw that a lot of my cousins or, people that I just heard of or knew of were waiting for a government job. I'm waiting for my name to come out for that teaching list. I'm waiting for this. I am waiting for a connection. And I said to myself, I said, I'll do great things. And I will not do great things by lobbying one. I will not do great things by waiting on the government. Two, I will not do great things by just sitting and watching and folding my hands, waiting for somebody to come and say to me. I'm going to do it out of passion. So that led me during my service to going out. Like, okay, now I stopped going to church because I just didn't even know what happened to me. But I just stopped going to church. That I felt like I could not hear God by myself anymore. I needed someone to hear God for me concerning this matter so that I can know what to do. And I was trusting God for some certain things at the time that I wouldn't like to really mention or go into. I was trusting God for some certain miracles. So I felt like I can't do it on my own. And then I needed somebody to speak with God because, I was not close to Him. And I remember I confided one of my friends during service and he said, oh, he has one store that is really powerful. I'm like, oh, okay, give me his number. Let me talk to him now. And the man's like, oh, you're no banji. We need to set the spirit.
Let's just break that down for those who probably don't understand what that is. So they called you a witch, like an evil witch, like what you see in the movies. Okay. So, all right, this is not like somebody who is a Wicca and kind of, no, this is like a witch who casts spells. Okay. All right. Carry on.
So I'm like, oh my goodness, me? I'll banji how? I was confused and I was even more scared. And you know what that led to? I started hallucinating, started hearing my name.
Oh, wow.
I was just ending the fear. I could not stay in my room anymore. And the man was like, I came for a spiritual bath. I wasn't going to be all right.
And what does a spiritual bath entail?
I was going to take a bath at the riverside. It was going to bath me or something like that. So that the spirit could leave me. And the clothes I would bring, they would burn it with kerosene. And so that the evil spirit will leave me, then I will go fresh and, fresh according to them. And I said, I can't take a spiritual bath. I was scared and he told me not to invite anybody. Or tell anybody I was coming to a kitty. I should come alone, come quiet, so that the evil spirits will not be aware. I'm just calm.
And when you say a kitty, that's another state. It's not even where you live. Oh, okay.
And he wants me to come to a kitty. And I'm like, I can't come more. Then I remember that I'm from the background of MFM and they told me this thing there was a scam or sham before. Why am I scared? Why am I entertaining these people?
And MFM is another movement, another church movement who are notorious for radical kind of prayers. Okay.
And I was like, why was I scared? And I just let it go. I remember this friend went on my behalf to another pastor. That one now said I should bring you big fat ram. Ram, ram.
Yes.
Big fat ram.
Okay. A ram's like, like lamb. Okay, for those who don't know. Okay, carry on.
A big fat ram. And 3,000 naira. Wow. So that they'll kill the ram and pray for me. Then I was going to see miracles. And I should use the ram to cook. You know what Yoruba people call Sarah? Because it says my witch mates or my coven mates are hungry in the spirits. So I needed to feed people to feed them in the spirit.
But you were killing the ram in the physical, but they'd be fed in the spiritual. Interesting. Okay.
And I remember that I was no longer scared at the time. So I told the man, okay, I've heard. But in my mind, I knew I was going to do it. I think I was going to do it sincere. Not my friend anymore. So after times, I just got distant because I don't want the spiritual work. I'm not interested anymore. This is scam. This is just scam. I'm not doing this. And that was how I stopped. But I didn't realize that my friend Mary at the time now invited me to the church. My mentor now, Pastor Eliaza. And that was I actually reconnected to God because he said something. He said, you do not need any needs to go to God. You don't need any needs to communicate with God. You are his child already. And he laughed when I told him about the express I had of your point. They said, do you have the spirit of God in you? And Obanje is up bunk. Or which one is up bunk? Which one is down bunk? And that just made me laugh. Which one is upstairs? Which one is downstairs? And I laughed. But that was the turning point for me.
Nice.
I became more fervent in my prayers to my work with God. I actually took it seriously. I knew that there was no other way. I need to go to him myself. That was why I wrote that book, that first chapter. Go to your source. If not, you will really dive into life. People would say things, you accept that that's who you are. That's what I am. Nothing can happen. Nothing can change. People will just stay stuck. So know who you are. And it only comes from knowing God. So that was why I wrote that book. One of the reasons, yes.
That is really true. If you don't know who you are, there's no end to all sorts of ideas and people who will tell you who you should be. So that's really good. Such wisdom from somebody who's so young. Wonderful. Currently, I understand that you serve as Director of Media and Branding for an organization called Women in Africa. And you were recently honored with the Africa Volunteer of the Year Award as Future Women Conference, which is an initiative organized by Women in Africa. Well done. You're doing amazing things. I'm just so pleased that we were able to dive into a little bit about your life, and you've told us. Look, for anyone who's thinking about going to Nigeria, you're not going to be called a witch, obviously. But it's just saying when you have 200 million people, all sorts of things can happen. And honestly, there's a reason why Nollywood is doing as well as it is, which is, our movie industry. A lot of the stories, some of them will have a hint of stuff that's happening in real life. So, yeah. So is there, just before we go, if there's one thing, so two things I'd like you to think about just very quickly. One thing you're most proud of that you've achieved in your life, and then two, when you look ahead, one thing you'd really like to achieve, what might those things be?
Okay, one of my greatest achievements, I'll also say, is going back to God, because everything I have done now and the benefit from that experience of going back to my source.
Mm-hmm. So your faith is quite important to you.
Yeah, it's quite it's the most important thing to me. One of the greatest achievements of my life is going back to God. Everything you see, all these ideas came from a place of prayer. All these things you see today, Women in Africa's connection came from a connection I lived it, telling me that the Holy Spirit had told him to send me a message, and it felt like I had the solution to his problems in my hands. I was going to Okinawa last year, and we did stuff together. Then when Women in Africa's opportunity came up, Mr. Patrick just told me about it. And he said, I know you do a good job. Do you know why I actually came in as a volunteer? I came in as a volunteer, right? And I was made director of media and brand because the woman just couldn't let me go. And during the award ceremony last Saturday, she said some really heartwarming things to me. And I've heard a lot of people tell me these things, and not to brag, but it means a lot to me. And I am not going to take that for granted. I said I would do more. I'll be more present. I would do more. I would help more. I would dedicate my life to serving people more. It's really important for me. And as I look ahead, all I see is greatness, to be honest. I see myself standing on world stages, giving people clarity about life. I see myself standing on world stages, representing God, representing Nigeria, representing my family, doing things that normally people my age cannot fathom. Most people, not all, well, people are doing great things as well. Cannot fathom. I want to do things that will shake the world, positively, not negatively, So I see myself standing on world stages. I see myself traveling a lot and, doing amazing things for humanity, for women, for children, for men, for society, for confused people, people that lack clarity, for people in general. So I see myself doing that. I see myself becoming a better manager, right? And going into branding, because branding is there's an expression for me. And I know I would go to consultancy and strategic management as well. So like things I see myself going to.
Wonderful. And I can tell you, I'll be keeping an eye out for you, and I'll be cheering for you as you hit that world stage. You're definitely a good ambassador for Nigeria. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences as a world changer with us. And of course, sharing about the beauty of Nigeria, Nigerian food, and of course, the beaches. Hopefully, we'll be able to explore that a little bit more at some later stage. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of World Changers Podcast. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am by today's conversation. Remember, the power to create change is within each of us. If you were inspired by today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave us a review. It really helps to spread the word and inspire even more world changers. And be sure to follow us on social media at World Changers PC for updates, behind the scenes content, and more inspiring stories. Until next time, keep exploring, keep making a difference, and remember, you can be a world changer.
The World Changers podcast is produced by Humanize Live and presented by Amiki Carroll. Visit theavocadofoundation.org to find out more about how the Avocado Foundation is tackling global inequality through education, stewardship, and financial literacy.